Hello, beautiful people. I'm Elise with Sister Queens, coming to you from the Cosmic Chambers. Magenta Rose Hawtoh has ebony midnight sky flesh draped in starlight and steeped in moonlight hue. She is timeless and holds the frequency of 88. The princess she holds, the presence she holds is one of protector and mystic expansive presence. She's prepared for anything, wearing a fitted bodysuit under her flowing draped garments. The weather conditions are mirroring what I described a few days ago in my writing. The weather is a warm, comfortable balm, thread through with ribbons of cool, built like a fancy layered cake, weaving the waking dream, awakening the woven dream. There have been so many adventures over the years, from healing circles with the Maori to Native American sweat lodges, intuitive world and road trip travel journeys to underground performance art troupes, deep silent retreats, and a multitude of juice and water fasting cleanses, training in meditation, yoga, prenatal yoga. All of these experiences contributed to the essence of preparation for what was to come. The grand adventure, where the red thread really began to vibrate and resonate at a frequency where the quickening came online, was years ago. The moment I wrote about earlier, when that glowing email arrived in my inbox with an offer that I was astonished by, an offer to attend the painting retreat in Hawaii with a teacher who I was not familiar about at that time. I just understood with certainty that I was to attend. I booked that first simple VRBO that I came across, purchased a flight, and off I went to to meet with the lineage holder of intentional creativity, who mentioned a name from my past, who was Shiloh Sophia McLeod of Musea, who I briefly made contact with in her gallery in Mendocino. Chords began to resonate, and I began to be alert and deeply curious about what was unfolding. As I continue to listen, I hear a resonant timbre voice that flows like rainfall, seeps in like river current, and lands like a tree. We knew you carried an extraordinarily bright golden light. We also saw how the corridors of darkness and locked doorways were preventing you from gaining access. You were aware of it, though. You wrote of it in your early potentials, that you knew of the potential. You wrote of it in your early writings, that you knew of the potential, the raw potential that was contained within you. You were told by Nanny Rose that you were to do something very special. She reminded you of the ancient royal bloodlines from which you came by calling you princess and addressing you as such so you could remember where you came from and who you were. It was like a running joke, and the postman must be very confused. What's a princess doing living in an apartment in Queens? In that lifetime, eons ago, your training began at birth and continued to be the focus of your life. That lifetime ended tragically before you were able to become queen. Although it ended early, the baseline of your training, gifts, and talents remained with you throughout time and space, infinitely guiding subsequent lifetimes. In this current incarnation, we called out to you repeatedly to help you. Remember, remember, remember. Each a ruby pearl on the string of your destiny necklace. Some of the ways we reached out to you were obvious, others were more subtle. Nanny Rose calling you princess, and your birth coming on the day of independence, which is a mixed and convoluted day as it is, which is also fodder for a much longer and detailed amount of writing than we will be focusing on here. And then that date was thwarted by the patriarchal structures. It's all a part of the story. Your mama being drugged to create convenience for the doctor, Mr. Dr. Man, since he was off enjoying playing a game of golf and celebrating at a party for the 4th of July. This wove its way into your calling by creating an understanding at base level just how skewed and unbalanced the priorities were at that time. We called out to you again through the early exposure you had to PBS at that special age of 8 to remind you. It was a reminder to you of your own clarilated gifts. Again, we called out to you when you met Mandia from Zambia, Africa, and Aki from Japan, and the healing modalities using tree stance and particular techniques in bathing. You began to explore communal living and using music as trance and elevation. Astrology and homeopathy came through Dante to you. Circular breathing and playing the didgeridoo came from Ben. The Chinese family, when you were 5, that you gravitated toward and didn't want to leave. You felt so at home with them. Although there was no shared spoken language, you just knew them. Intensive raw food fasting, cleansing, silent retreats, healing circles, women's circles, the goddess temple, goddess dance, Maori healing modalities, Native American sweat lodges, intuitive journeys, exploring hot springs in the Four Corners region of the United States for multiple months, intuitively led international travel, done prior to smartphones, guided by your inner knowing and inklings, bathing in the Ganges River and practically drowning, while 2 men looked down upon this curious sight of a fully dressed Western white woman jumping overboard from their simple rowboat, dressed in traditional clothing of the region. The underground performance art spell with the moving gathering and the Bindleston family circus. All these experiences and others were the sounds that we whispered and witnessed you answering. Your instant response to Amber's Born to Create retreat and the subsequent explorations of international creativity with Shiloh Sophia. The times you spent devoted to your daily creative practices were clear signs that you were paying attention to the call of consciousness. What you were seeking was seeking you. Closer and closer you were moving toward each other. Each thing your soul was calling out for was reorganizing and restructuring to be present and connectable to you. Amber's daily ritual offering sounded the call loud and clear. This moment, when you said yes to this call, created an alchemy of transformative genius. Both seeker and seeking came into alignment with such potential that consciousness itself laughed, smiled, and rejoiced. You brought your sacred tools to the journey, and the unfolding since then has been the unveiling of what you have always been looking for. The journal, the pen, the inward focus, the prayer, the consistent devotion to showing up and listening, and moving toward all of the things that felt correct for you. You've done it. You've responded to the call consciousness was extending. You are now in community with like-minded kin. You have connected with some dear ones who truly see and can reflect to you what they see. You are in a place that can thrive and share your enhanced, precious treasures with. Now that Magenta Rose has inhabited and taken up center point radiance in your soul, the movements you make on the earth are potent. Your tools are few: notebook, pen, paintbrush, water, simple nourishment, sunlight, moonlight, starshine, water, and perhaps some essential oils containing the plant essence allies that have always been there. She wakes at 4:04, ambrosial hours, to connect with the stars and the moonlight, animal spirits and plant kin. As she meditates, she hears a vibration of the winged creature. It is the nickel azul gold quinacridone dragonfly. She is inviting you to come aboard. You've got some traveling to do. You understand as you come aboard that the GPS has already been set. You'll be traveling to and through areas that can be transformed and midwifed through to their own magical ways.